The official, you are live right there. We
You
are
have
live.
had them.
All right, everybody. Welcome to Thursday night's Fish North Georgia, the Livewell. We appreciate you tuning in and spending your Thursday evening with us as we sit here and pontificate about fishing and all things fishing. And we're going to do a few things tonight, talking about the hashtag 5 Bigs for Beasley tournament and all that. So we're glad you're watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you can be notified of any future content. And also, if you're watching this at a later time, we want to say thank you as well. And again, we look forward to having a pretty cool, easy-going night tonight, talking fishing and going over some things. So, got to silence them cell phones, man. It's like church. It's like churches and all that. So, what's up, Doug Phillips, Scotty Edwards? How you guys doing? Let me go ahead and get the business out of the way. As always, the Live Well is brought to you by Rachel Collins with 400homes.com. If you're in the real estate market looking to buy or sell, give Rachel a call. She's one of us. She likes to fish. She is super nice, is she not, Ryan?
She is very nice.
She is very nice. You weren't ready for that.
She's very nice. Yes. She is not watching tonight.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. They're a Motley
Crew
Crew tonight. So, yeah.
Leopard.
But anyway.
James is out there singing, pour some sugar on me.
He probably is. I don't even want to realize that. Oh, dear Lord. But let me go ahead.
Out of the wild side. No, wait. That's
Motley Crue.
Is that Motley Crue?
The last one was right. You were right. Motley Crue was that. So let me point at the picture real quick. That's Rachel. That's Rachel. 770-310-0599 or Rachel at 400homes.com. So I guess I should have wore a hat. Look at that. Daggum lie. I'm about to blind people watching like that. So Motley Crue, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You like the Crew back during the day?
Oh, yeah.
Did you?
I'm not a big fan of glam metal, but they've had some pretty good.
They made a few good songs. What about you?
Yep, I've had my share of it.
Yep, you've had.
I love it.
Joseph Castleberry is joining us tonight. Me and Ryan, as we sit here and talk, we've been trying to get rid of him all day. He's been here 6.5 hours.
He showed up and didn't leave. We ended up buying him supper.
Yeah, listen, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not doing the hat tonight. I don't know. I just haven't had one. Basically, listen. Listen, the air conditioning upstairs is running like a scalded dog, and this old building heats up when you got this obsessive heat. So I went hatless today. I would have gone shirtless today, but we had a few customers come in here and all that. So what's up, George and Ron, all you guys? So just got off Lanier with my brother and my niece. Good. How was the fishing? We'd like to know. So we got a lot of fishing coming up. And we're going to talk about Lake Lanier and some of the other lakes in the area and just kind of what we're seeing, what we're expecting for this weekend. It's been really hot. Water temps are really high. And lots of good things are going on in the lakes. At topwater bites finally starting to come in, according to some people. Others are not seeing it as much, stuff like that. Alatuna, kind of getting the same kind of reports and stuff like that. But we're just going to kind of go over a few things with the hashtag 5 Bigs for Beasley benefit tournament that's coming up this Saturday and some of the changes that were made just the other day. And kind of also, too, for those, a lot of people are asking about the raffle tickets and all. We're going to kind of start really giving you some detailed items that are going to be sold or available for purchase. For the raffles, you can purchase the raffle tickets. You can buy them here at Fish North Georgia, or you can buy them the day of. And we really would like, if you're not fishing in the tournament, to show up about 3:00 at Laurel Park and be a part of this thing. Be a part of the community. We're going to have barbecue. We're going to have Chick-fil-A, chicken sandwiches and chips and drinks and all that stuff. You can get Ryan's autograph. He said he'd sign your baby's head, all kinds of stuff like that. You good with that?
Yes.
You're going to have your 8x10s?
You can have your 8x10s, glamour shots.
I'll have my 8x10s.
That's right. So we're going to do stuff like that. So, and also, too, again, we're doing this benefit. Everybody knows why we're doing it. Those of you that watch, today would have been Eric's 18th birthday. And so we were going to have his favorite meal tonight, which was buffalo chicken pizza and a monster. But unfortunately, living in Marble Hill, the pizza place up here quit selling buffalo chicken pizza this week. And the stores were out of monsters. So unfortunately, we can't do that. But I'm sure he is rocking it up where he's at like that, looking down on all of us. So that's the reason why we're doing this. And one of the big changes that has caused a little bit of a discussion around here lately is that a little bit of controversy is that we changed the adult division to a digital tournament. If you're familiar with Hammond's, first of all, thank you to Hammond's and Tim over there for allowing us to use their scales. And we thought with the high water temps and stuff like that, we don't really want to put a black eye on this event. And one of the things, when you get so many boats together, fishing a tournament like that, we always realize in bass fishing, there's going to be a dead fish or two here or there. But we always stress fish care here. If we're going to talk the talk, we might as well walk the walk, and we can't control everybody. So it was brought up, let's do it digital. And we sat here yesterday. We called some of the anglers that are going to be involved, that we respect their opinions. And pretty much we decided that that's the way it was going to be. So, but we also talked to Jesse earlier today, and we have found Oakwood Bait and Tackle also had some digital scales. And so we believe, I'll know for sure, I think we've made the decision. Have we made the decision on the high school?
Yes.
Yeah, we think we're going to turn the high school into a digital tournament as well. So that way we're going to eliminate the weigh-ins, and also we will eliminate blast-offs for the high school guys, so they don't have to sit back and wait while all the adults go out and get that. And again, a lot of people have chimed in and commented on it, and we see both sides of the argument. If you can catch 3 fish and keep it alive, you should be able to do 5. And we agree with stuff like that. But this being at Laurel Park and being in a recreation area where we're going to have people walking, where we're going to have people up playing and stuff like that, we really do not want to take the chance of them coming down and watching 100+ boats weigh in a fish, and then having one dead fish is one too many, but having a possibility of 10, 20 with the heat like that. So we really do not want to put a black eye, a stain on what we're doing. And that's why we made this decision. Now, if you've never fished a digital tournament, it's really not that hard. And so real quick, we're kind of go over it. Ryan has fished them before. Have you fished one of them yet? He ain't fished one of them?
I have not.
It's fairly simple. There is an app that you can download on your phone. And one of the partners of the boat has to download this app. And the others, or wherever they're fishing.
It's not really an app.
It's like a link.
Yes.
More like a link.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have this link on your phone. And so you go fishing, you catch a fish in, and then basically go through a pretty easy process. One of the team members is holding their phone, and they hit the record button on their phone. The other guy shows this scale, and they're all calibrated the same, and he'll show it in the camera as 0. And then while he's all doing that, all in the camera, he clips the fish on, shows the weight, and then you just take the right off the side of the boat and you video the fish going back in the water. Once you do that, you basically just upload that video to that link. And what it does is there's a database that keeps score. Now, I believe Tim, Jesse, and all them, they're going to kind of look, and somebody is looking at the fish, making sure that everything was done properly and stuff like that. Once that happens, they'll certify that fish, and then it goes on the database and the scoreboard. And basically, you can keep a running tally of, I guess it might show, I know it shows 10 teams, at least the top 10 teams, but it might show even more. So you can kind of keep an idea on what other people are doing throughout the day. But I know a lot of people's like, well, I've never done one of these things before. It really is very simple. And now we have a video out on the Fish North Georgia group page of Tim Hawkins, who actually is going through step-by-step how to do this. And like I said, I've done a couple of them. It is super simple. Don't let the word apps or uploads or stuff like that scare you. It's super simple. It keeps your best 5 fish throughout the day. So it's very easy. Number one, it's very easy to keep up with who's winning. It's very easy to keep up with the big fish. And it's very easy because it eliminates a weigh-in. And that's kind of one of the big things we were kind of worried about when we were discussing this yesterday, is the weigh-in and keeping the fish alive.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yes, that's it. That's what you got for it. Yes?
Yes.
What do you think about this whole thing?
We're going to have fun.
That's it. We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. Let me see if I miss it.
I was just reading comments.
Yeah, well, we made the decision just based upon the fact that this is going to be a yearly thing. All right, because after this, we're going to do this every year. And we really, guys, you know how it is on a lake. You know how word gets out if people are doing something wrong, make mistakes. It spreads like wildfire. And not only is Fish North Georgia involved in it, you got Georgia High School fishing, Jesse's Trail in it. You also have the ABA with Dane and all them stepping up and fishing in this thing too. And so the last thing we want is that black eye to be known as, and we, fish killers, or we don't take care of it, or we're just worried about getting in and getting out and not taking care of the resource. And so that's definitely the mindset behind it. And also, to be honest with you guys, It's going to be 90 degrees Saturday. We want you to come for the raffle and all that. But if you have to sit and wait for 80-something boats to weigh in, that takes a lot of time. And then you're waiting on the raffle. And it could be 6, 7 o'clock because we've got a ton of stuff to raffle off. And it's just more convenient like that. So if you have any questions, if you're fishing it or thinking about fishing it, we're capping off the boats on the adult division at 85 boats. That's a max because we have 85 scales for the adults. And we're going to cap off the high school or school age at 30 boats. And so that's what we're going to go with that. So good call on the digital tournament. Fish preservation, and he's pulling it back up there. Fish preservation is critical. And I think it's exactly the kind of proactive decision that honors Big Bag Beasley's legacy the right way. And that's true. Eric's dad was up here today, and we were talking about that. He would have a fit, just even in the tournaments that he fished, with one dead fish. So one fish was one too many, and like that. So, hey, Paul, is there a way that you possibly can make the screen get a little bit bigger? For some reason this week it's on the comments, it's down one size, so it's a little bit hard to read the comments in there. So there you go. That's better. Thank you. That's even better right there. I like that right there. So again, that's wine. If you got any questions, of course, you can call us here at the store. You can message us on Facebook and stuff like that. Now, that being said, we're going to have a good time. We got a lot of good sticks in this. And if you're wanting to measure yourself up against some really good anglers, there's some really good ones that are going to be fishing. Ryan will be fishing. So there we go. We're all going to be after Ryan. Huh? Look at Ryan. Ryan is the hammer. Listen, Ryan is acting like I don't catch no fish. I ain't that good. I don't want to hear it. I know better.
Ryan ain't never caught fish.
I don't know. And you're fishing it, right?
I hope. You
hope? Oh, that's right. That's right. I will go ahead and tell you this. So Jeff Nail put out, he was auctioning off his co-boater seat. And so the current leader is who?
Me.
All right. Who's going to be the leader after tonight?
Me.
There you go. So we're going to see that. That ends about 9 o'clock tonight. So we might can check that as we get closer to time to make sure. I'm sure you're going to actually check and make sure right there at the end. So like that. Yep. I can tell you this. Guys, a lot of money has been coming into the store for the raffle tickets. A lot of donations. A lot of companies have stepped up with that. And it's been absolutely awesome. Very touching to see. Jesse brought me this list today. And this is just what Jesse has at his store. And I want you to listen to some of these things. Now, these are raffle items. All right. We've got, let's see, 2, 4. And I know we're going to have.
Are these red ticket? Or?
These are red ticket items. These are sunglasses. I don't know. He didn't put down what brand they are, but I know they're pretty high end. And I know Sackett's out of Jasper gave us a pair of Costas to give away to raffle off. I know Redfin sent me 2 of their sunglasses and their hats. That's what Kaz Anderson uses. He's sponsored by those. We have 2 Berkeley prize packs. Hammond's has a rod and reel combo and a prize pack. Budweiser gave a chair and a cooler. Yeah. That's right. For her apparel. That's right. That's right. For her apparel.
Say it, Danny.
Yee. Shirts, hats, and a cup. Did I do it right?
I love it.
Is that a good yee?
It's a little bit like Jimmy Houston.
I love it.
Did I yee? So for her apparel, shirts, hat, and a cup. Bay Marine. Now they're giving it. We have so far from them. We've got 2 Hook 5 units, possibly a couple of more, even possibly a 9. We'll know tomorrow because they're picking them up. But these we have in hand. 2 $100 raffle gift cards, and also Big Fish. There's a $500 prize in the adult and the school division. Plus, Bay Marine is going to give a $50 gift card from them to go to the Big Fish. Now, here's something that everybody's going to be interested in. Now, we talked about jerseys, and these are actual signed jerseys from pros. Now, let's listen to this list, and actually, it's pretty impressive because it just kind of tells you the reach that the little boy didn't know he had, but Beasley had a big reach, and so these people have reached out for this event. Clint Davis, Mark Frazier. I always murder Shane's last name.
Shane Lineberger.
Lineberger. Jason Christie.
Jeff Gustafson.
G-Man Gerald Swindle. And now his is pretty cool. Ryan, tell them how he signed this. This is awesome, guys.
He signed it, G-Man Gerald Swindle, in honor of Eric Beasley.
Yeah, right across the chest in the front. So
yeah, that's
going to be up. We got Jesse Millsap is giving one, Andy Montgomery, Alton Jones Jr., and there may be a couple more, but those are tickets that you can buy. They go in the
orange ticket.
That's the orange ticket right there. So for somebody like G-Man and Gussie and these guys, Jason Christie's, this shirt, again, I've said, you probably heard me say it, it was actually worn on day 2 of his Bassmaster Classic win. So it's actually it's been used in the biggest of the big stages. And, for these guys to step up and reach out and give us this stuff, just because of the love and because they've heard about Eric and the situation. But actually, Gussie and Eric, they communicated. They actually had a little relationship going where they talked all the time. I'm correct on that, right, Ryan?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like that. So,
yes.
The way that the professional fishing world has kind of stepped up and took notice of our tournament this Saturday is amazing to us. And so between that, and that's just what Jesse has. And of course, we have the kayak from the dugout. We have we've got.
That's the green ticket.
That's the green ticket. We've got of course, the Yeti cooler, the turkey fryer. What was the company? It's Paul Salon. What was his name? I mean, the name of that company that came up today. I didn't write it down. I'm just pulling these out of the top of my head.
The cards in the box.
The cards in the box. But they actually came in and bought an FX rod, an Abu Garcia reel, some line, and some hooks and various other things. And then turned around and said, raffle that off, and stuff like that. So very cool stuff with that. And of course, about the cast, Georgia Blade, Spro, Picasso, all kinds of stuff's going to be at this raffle. So again, make sure you tell everybody if they can to show up and Saturday at Laurel Park about 3:00 and take part of this again, because we're doing this just to love and shower the family. Eric's family is going to be there participating in all of this. And so it's a lot of people made just straight donations. And again, if you want to know how you can donate or you can buy raffle tickets, it's very easy. If you will message me on Facebook, Danny Pruitt on Facebook, or you can do it through the Eric Beasley Facebook page or even the Fish North Georgia group page. Well, I'll get all those messages. You can tell us what tickets and how many you want. You can send me the money via PayPal or Venmo. And then what I'll do is I'll fill the tickets out for you. Take a picture of your numbers if you're not going to be able to be present. And I'll send those numbers to you. And again, you do not have to be present to win, but we would love everybody to be there like that. So again, the big changes. Did you say Farley's bringing? Isn't Farley bringing some baits tomorrow for that too?
It's supposed to be, yes.
Supposed to be. So just all kinds of stuff. And I'm sure I missed some stuff upstairs already, but our, we don't know how we're going to get all the stuff there. That's how much stuff we got to raffle. So again, we want you guys to come be a part of it. And again, just sometimes just to put a name with a face that we might not, like guys like Ron Swinford, and Jeremiah, we finally got to meet and stuff like that. But as each one of you come up there, shake our hands. And so we can say, hey, I'm so-and-so on Facebook or YouTube like that. And so we get to know you because again, it's all about building community. But again, one thing I will say, this has been brought up. Guys have asked if they could pick up their scales and then go to another boat ramp. No, everything is going to go out of Laurel. It's going to start out of Laurel Park and it's going to end back in Laurel Park. So that's just, we're doing it for a couple of specific reasons, but we can go over that in private if you'd like, but that's what we want you to do. We want you to come back to Laurel Park and all that. So before we get talking about fishing, anything you got to add to that, Paul, either one?
No, I don't think so.
Did I pretty much cover? I didn't miss anything?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. All right, so guys, so that's
I'll just give the quick rundown of the tickets.
the tickets. Okay. So we have a red ticket that is, Paul, you got to remind me of the price on that one.
Oh, you need the prices now?
Yeah, red tickets. $5 for one,
piece or $6
for 20. That goes in the general raffle. That's going to be for stuff like the sunglasses, the bait packs, stuff like that. Then we have a white ticket. The white ticket is for the electronics. We will have a Mega Live, which I have right here. A Mega Live, 2, possibly 4 Lowrance type units. 2 of them are hooks. Those are good on kayaks, especially good on kayaks, stuff like that. And so we'll be having that. And that is $20 for one ticket, or I believe $7 for 100. Okay. Then we've got orange, and I haven't even brought this part up. The orange tickets are $10 for one, and then 12 for 100. They go for these jerseys and guided fishing trips. We've got a lot of guides that have stepped up and have offered trips. Kaz Anderson, actually Paul Marks Jr. has one. Ryan has one right there. I think Phil Johnson has a half-day trip. Bill Payne has a half-day trip. Kevin with Lipstick or Fishing has a trip.
Was LJ on that?
I think LJ was on that too. So yes, we are going to be at the shop tomorrow. So from
One of the other
8 to 5.
NPFL guys, too.
Yeah. So one of the other what?
One of the other NPFL guys.
Yeah.
Robert, and I would murder Robert.
I can't say his last name either. It's like Robolowski or something like that.
He's offering a trip. So
Yeah.
you buy one of these orange tickets, that goes in there for that. So, and we'll just be drawing. We'll pull up, say, hey, this is for this. Reach in there, grab one, and just keep going right on down the line. So I will tell you this, with all the stuff we're giving away, you got a really good chance of winning something. We've got that much stuff to give out, including like those oil change discounts and stuff like that. Just all kinds of stuff. Chick-fil-A, Buffalo's gift cards.
It's got a racetrack too, I think.
Yeah, it's insane. It really, actually, we want to make sure we get enough people so we can give away all the prizes. That's how many prizes we've got. Seriously, it's crazy. And also the big ticket prize is, of course, is the 12. What is it? Passport, or what did you call that? I'm not the kayak guy.
Mirage Passport 12.
Mirage, it's a Hobie Passport 12.
The Hobie Passport 12 kayak.
That was kindly donated by Jamie Cozen and the guys down at the dugout. And again, we love them guys, a bunch of good guys. And as much as we like for you to come up here to our shop, and buy that, Hammond's and Dugout, they're two class acts. You can go to either one of them and get all you need. But definitely, if you're in the kayak game, everybody knows Dugout is the king around here right now. And so, again, they stepped up to support us in a big way. And I can't thank Jamie Cozen enough. He's an absolute super guy. And Tim for giving us those scales, too. Just, we appreciate it more than you know. Now, am I missing anything before we get to talking about fishing, Ryan? Daggum nose is killing me tonight for some reason. Anything? How about this? I got a question. I got a question that was asked for me today. It just popped into my head. Say somebody's fishing. We're in a digital tournament. They come upon a school. They catch one, but the school's still busting. Can they take that one fish, throw it in the live well long enough to keep fishing the school, and then turn around and weigh them?
Yes.
Okay, so there you go. I had that question. So that's a good explanation. Now I had people ask me that. The lines open at 6:30. That's when the app will start working. Everybody gets that, and it will not allow you to weigh a fish. And lines are in at 6:30. And yes, it is an honor system. We hope we have honorable guys. I think for the most part,
We got
the
the nuts, Steve.
Yeah, we got nuts. Hey, we got 4 packs of Steve's nuts come in too. So I always enjoy Steve's nuts. Very tasty. So what about if you're upriver with no service? Okay, so very easy. It's very easy. You can record that. You can record that fish. Keep it on your phone until you get to where you have service. You can do 5 at one time. It doesn't matter. But I will tell you this. They all have to be uploaded by 2/29. Because at 2:30, Jesse's going to hit that app that closes it. And if it's not been uploaded by then, it will not count. So
And don't delete your videos after 2:29 in case you need to do something, in case a question gets raised. You got your phone, you can pull the video back up.
Yeah, we want to keep it out. So it is, I know it's a little bit different, but I fished in the Hammond's digital tournaments a couple of times, and they're actually pretty fun. And one of the fun things about it is seeing that leaderboard right there, knowing, I think I fished with Brett Matthews one time, and we had like 10 pounds in the first 15 minutes. And so we were sitting at number 1, and then the rest of the day, we just watched guys pass us and pass us. It was like, it was agonizing, but it is it's very fun. And again, the main thing is having fun at this tournament. That's what it's really about, supporting the family. It's not about the money and all that stuff. It's about showing Eric's family some love. His dad came up here today, it being his birthday. He was having one of them days, and all we can do is love on him. That's all we would be able to do with you guys, because words can't, we're not, just like I told his dad, I said, there's nothing I can say to make you feel better, but we can love on you and love on you and love on you, keep loving on you. And that's what we're doing. So that's just what this tournament's about, number 1. And then number 2, it's just going to be a neat experience with this. And we won't kill any of the fish. And that's a big thing too. We want to make sure we take care of it, because it is going to be hot as hell. What do you think? The water's already hot. I bet you there's some places might popped up 90 degrees today. You think?
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't shock me at all. So anyway, seeing that leaderboard can make some guys spin out. Absolutely it can. And that's what's pretty cool about it. It will absolutely make you go, Raymond. So there's a couple of things about the student division that I'll text you later on tonight about, because there's a few things that they're going to change on that we're going to talk about, or that we've already talked about. So I will definitely do that. I like it if you're getting whipped by the where's it at? It didn't pop up there. Which one? That right there. I like it if you're getting whipped by the sun and way behind. You can go find the AC early. Well, listen, you got to come back through Laurel at least and do that. We want you to stay. Hey, man it out. Sometimes that bike don't kick on till the last, hour? How many times have you gone out? Either one of you gone out and you ain't had nothing in the last hour, all of a sudden it shows up.
Quite a few.
It does. It happens. What are you doing, Ryan? Like you over there asleep?
I am.
Are you asleep?
Mm-hmm.
You've had a long day?
Mm-hmm.
You need to go home and rock that baby?
Yeah.
No, well, you can go home and rock that baby, baby. If someone...
We got a live update here. I just got a message on Instagram from Mr. Emil Wagner. He's going to donate a half-day trip.
There you go.
To the orange ticket. So add him to the list.
And listen, you know what? He's good. I mean, that kid posts some impressive pictures and stuff like that. So, Mr. Wagner, there you go. How you pronounce his first name? Emil? Huh? What do you say?
E-M-I-L.
Emil. Okay, I want to make sure I say it right. So
that's I had an uncle named Emil, and that's how we.
Well, we hope your name's Emil, but I know you by your pictures that you show on that. He's actually started guiding now and puts up some impressive pictures and stuff like that.
Someone's gonna have a chance to fish with it.
There you go. Heck, I'll buy into that one right there. So if someone can't make the tournament, can you still buy tickets? Yes. Again, I'll go real quick. You can tell me. You can hit me on Messenger. You can message us on the Eric Beasley Facebook page, on the Fish North Georgia group page. I'll get any of those right there, and you can tell me what you want to do. And so what we'll do is, at that point, you tell me what you want. You send your money either via Venmo or PayPal, and whatever the amount is, I will fill out the tickets, and then I will take a picture of them, send you the numbers, so then that way if we draw, and I think we're going to probably do a Facebook Live during the drawing too, so that way guys can, if they've got tickets and they can't be there, they can watch and see if their number or name got called like that. So just hit me up on Facebook, and I'll be glad to answer anything. Let's see. So here's that. I was out last Saturday, and they did not turn on until about 10. That sounds about right. So we will segue from this into the fishing talk for tonight. So, Ryan, what are you expecting this weekend? And you basically, we fished East Hall last Saturday, and, you did very well. It was a little tough for us, but kind of what you think the lake's going to do and what you're expecting.
Going to be a good day.
Come on, Ryan. Don't be going to give me that one word thing.
Going to be a good day to fish, even though it's hot. It'll test a lot of people's mental fortitude.
It will. It will.
It really is. And,
dig deep, bear down.
Come on. He's trying not to give up juice. Is what the hell he's trying to do.
Dig deep and bear down and keep casting, baby. Keep
casting. That is your pontification for this upcoming week.
Yes.
That's it. That's all I'm going to get out of you.
Yep.
Oh, my God. You ain't worth the crap. What about you?
Look at how ready.
What about you? Come on. Listen, what the hell?
I got top water.
Exactly. Okay, you gave me more than Ryan did just right there. I'm going to kick Ryan in the nuts when we get off camera like that. Give me a good answer. But top water is going to be in play, and you know it is, and everybody knows it is. So what do you think?
I ain't going to throw anything else.
I kind of figure. A lot of guys will. Sometime this time of year, that's all that'll be in guys' hands, and they'll just commit to it all day. But now it's where and what you're throwing that makes the difference. Yes. Location. I'm telling you what. Yeah, normally he's talking. Tonight he's like, I ain't giving up nothing. You're gonna draw all the viewers away because you ain't giving up no juice now, huh? Horny toad.
Possibly.
Going to be rough on the south end.
Oh, they can't afford no gas down there to run them aircraft carriers.
Listen, good night. I will tell you this. You're absolutely right, Alan. It's going to be. So also, too, if you guys are fishing it, keep that in mind, safety and all that. You got to watch out for these yahoos that had a party the night before on Friday, and they wake up with a big old headache. Let's go to the lake. Let's do it again. And so got to definitely be careful. But it's going to be rough for sure. So always fish where there are fish. That's rule number one. Look at that. Danny Pert, Ryan Andrew, don't kiss and tell.
Hey, you ain't never met Ryan then.
Listen, yeah. Ron Swinford, 4 top waters, a drop shot, and a small swim bait.
You don't need 4.
Right. Okay. Rule number 2 is never forget rule number 1. Exactly. So like that. So yeah. So a lot of guys are going to play the hump game. They're going to be throwing top water over humps.
The hump game.
Hump game. So you got top water on hump.
Sure.
And And then you got the guys that will be going north. There's going to be a lot of different strategies coming up for sure.
Well, you got your guys that'll go north.
You got a lot of different strategies.
You got a lot of strategies. Go south.
Go south. That's
you got
right.
your guys that'll go east.
That's it. And guys go west.
Guys that'll go west.
And the reality is
Some
everything can.
Southeast, you don't know.
Just a little bit out of angle like that. So, well, how about we do this? Since you're not going to give me no juice and you ain't going to give me no juice.
As far as top water?
You did say top. Okay, well, all right. Let's press it. What kind of top water are you throwing?
Some new baits I found.
Some new baits you found? You guys are awful tonight like this. I'll be glad this tournament gets over.
I don't know if they work.
Well, how about this? What are you most concerned about this weekend? How about this? Let's
hydration.
Go that. In any form, any part of the tournament. What do you being fishing and anybody fishing on any lake?
I only have one concern for the weekend. Mm-hmm. I only have one concern for my game Saturday, and that's whether or not the size
is there.
Bites
are going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
The quality bites.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think everybody will have a decent day at least catching fish? You just more worried about the size, or you think it'll still be tough for some?
It ain't easy to catch them. Right
Look
now.
at Justin. I'm gonna kick Justin in the butt.
It's
they're not pulling water either. Yeah.
It ain't easy. It ain't easy right now to go out and just say, "Oh, I can catch 5."
Right. And that lucky one to find that school of bigs willing to bite.
Yeah. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely stay out of the trees. You'll have a better chance of catching fish if you stay out of the trees for sure. What is it about water being so hot though right now that will turn some fish on and some fish off? I mean, what makes that difference? Why are they like can be hot and then 200 yards down just be ice cold and not doing anything?
Food.
Bait.
Food.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You ever been swimming?
Right.
And feel like you get in a cold spot sometimes underneath
your
feet.
And so that's what you're looking for. You're looking for them cold spots or something like that.
Shooting.
No, it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it is. So let's see. Largies and Florida strain will be in warmer water. And I guess that's very true. So the largemouth game will come into play a little bit because it's Lanier Island. I like that. So fish are slaves to their stomach. They absolutely are.
Yep.
They are.
Gotta eat.
They gotta eat. But now, how about this? Since it won't give you juice, how do blueback herring act in hot water?
They just stay up as close to the surface as they can.
So they stay
sun.
High.
Yeah.
They stay up sun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
they stay
like
as far high up in the water column basically as they can.
Which is what brings the top water game on in this. But
yes.
Got to find Democrat fish. They get triggered easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. They do get triggered. Problem is, can you get them to bite? That's the big thing. If they just sit there and fuss at you, but maybe they'll bite like that. But what about let me put what I saw this past weekend. We fished humps. We tried the top water stuff. We couldn't get hit on that. We turned right around and threw a shaky head down in the brush and couldn't get hit on that. But we were marking fish on our sonar.
Mm-hmm.
So what were we doing wrong?
Gotta come back when they're ready.
Basically what Paul said.
Just at this time of the year, you just got to wait till they hit.
I don't care what kind of technology you have on your boat and how good you think you are. If they're not going to cooperate at a certain time of day, at a certain spot, you're not going to get those fish to bite. But it can change like that. So,
is that why we see guys sitting on one reef marker all day long or something like that?
Pretty much.
They just are waiting for that window.
Pretty much. It's you can do your damnedest to try to get some reaction bites out of those schools, but it's not like wintertime where you can really get them to react more. Right now, it's really all about feeding periods. There's certain periods throughout the day, and none of the fish feed at the same time. So it's all about timing, location, and feeding period. And practice. Because, it's easy to say, just go out there and go throw top water bait. But there are some top water baits right now that you can't throw $1 million, a case of $1 million bills in the lake and beg them to beat this top water bait that you're throwing, and they're not.
Just not
They ain't
interested.
gonna have it. Yeah, they ain't gonna have it.
Right.
There's a lot of experimentation that you've got to do, and once you don't be like, oh, I'm pretty sure I can get them to bite this. I'm pretty sure I can get them to. I want them to bite this.
Right.
It's not happening. One of the key things right now has been the lack of wind.
Okay.
And with the lack of wind,
Yep.
I've had a couple of guys make the comment, I can't get bit on a super spook right now. Well, we don't got no wind, and the wind don't really help the super spook at all.
Right.
It's more of a wind type bait. There is a couple other different type of walking baits, though, however, that they will come up on when they want to.
That don't require as much wind and stuff like that. A little more subtle.
Yes. The problem with the lack of wind that we've been having the past week, especially this week, is when you find an area where the fish are, where they're willing to come up out around the brush and come up. Typically, it's about one and done. Not all the time, but the majority of the time, it's one and done right now.
I got you.
Because the water, the water is so slick still, and having the boat traffic Saturday will help.
It
some.
Actually will.
It will.
That's yeah.
But the problem is you'll finally roll up to a place and you'll get them to bite. And Dane can attest to this after we turn the camera off. And I explained to him one specific one specific place that we fished. I said, this is going to be right now with the conditions that we are. It's a one and done. And I caught one off of it. Right. Well, as I was bringing it to the boat, there was about 12 more underneath it.
Following it.
Yes. Right. And it's just being that it's so slick and stuff right now, and there's just not a whole lot of wind. They come up, and when they all come up together, whichever one gets it first, it goes down, and then they follow it. They follow them, and they're like, well, what the hell did they get?
Right. Right.
And then they just follow them all the way back to the boat. And then they come up and they see old boat, and then they're like, oh, never mind. And then they're like, well, we're not going to turn back around. You pull them off the brush, and they got to relocate themselves. Definitely
a wolf pack's what they call them.
Banjo minnow.
The banjo minnow. I know. Always got somebody wants us to throw that banjo minnow. Now,
have you seen the commercials? They're still playing that.
Somebody made some money off the banjo minnow. I don't care, because they're in a lot of tackle boxes. There's probably some of the tackle boxes some of these guys have, and nobody's wanting to admit it. But I wonder really how good it is.
And like we was talking upstairs earlier, I mean, a lot of people don't believe in it, but just a little bit of scent on your bait can change.
Interesting. We were talking about that. I don't know how many of you guys use scent. Now we were talking. We started off talking about JJ's Magic, or that kind of stuff, and spiking, and then we got into the scent game and all that. What is it that you were saying that you use? Come on, spill it. Come on, you brought it up.
I just said use a little bit of scent on it.
Redact that, Paul.
I knew I was going to get him. But how about this, guys? How many of you guys use scent? And if you do use it, what kind do you use? I know that, upstairs we've got the Bang and stuff like that, and it comes in several different scents. I'm more of a color guy, tipping the tail with the chartreuse, and Ryan got me turned on to that, as our buddy likes to say. But how much do you think scent matters? In all honesty. Because I know Joseph believes in it.
Yes,
he believes in it 100%. WD-40.
I've heard worms that. And jigs. On my worms and jigs, I use a lot. I use a lot, especially in the wintertime. But right now, it's JJ's or bust for me. Chartreuse,
right?
With WD-40 mixed in.
Kyle dips that JJ's magic after every fish. No fish is his saying.
Oh,
Yeah, no dip, no fish. So yeah, so he believes in it.
yeah.
And I think it does with spots a lot. I think it really does affect spots.
Yeah.
I'm putting it on everything. Top water, crankbait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Softy spray, Dane says, yeah, Softy, it's 50% protein, 50%. It's mineral oil and it's mineral oil and 50% what Tim used to call protein, but he wouldn't tell me what in the hell protein was. So, that's the one thing about JJ's, that garlic. I still can't smell from COVID, but that's the one thing I can get a whiff of for just a second. That's how strong that stuff is. Of course, you and I talked about the top. We wish the top was a little bit.
Yeah, that's the only thing I got against that. Or to spike it is a lot better.
Yeah, you like to spike it top a lot better.
Seals up.
JJ's, it can get messy.
Yeah,
it's good stuff, but it can get very messy. Listen, catawba worm. It might be catawba worm. I don't know what it is. All I know is that's what he told me it was. Bangfish attracted is trash, but there's some I just don't leave home without. Well, Jeremiah, which ones do you not leave home without? That's what we want to know right now. Yeah, let's go. Let's drop it. You're the information king, so let us know what you use. I personally, I don't use it that often. I don't use it enough. You love using it.
It made a believer out of me a couple Fridays ago.
Stephen Barday makes me want garlic bread. Well, I'm glad you could join us tonight, Mr. Barday. I hope life is well. Thank you for coming out and seeing Ryan and I on the boat the other day. We enjoyed seeing you and your better half. Jack's Juice was the best ever made. Too bad he's out of business.
You can still buy it.
Where can you buy it at?
eBay.
But how much does it cost?
It's like $60 for 2 cans.
Really?
You get the crawfish and the garlic.
I was actually fishing with Tim. I don't know if he remembers it, but he spilt some of that. I don't know if it was JJ's or Jack's or whatever it was, but it was chartreuse, and he spilt it on his boat. He was not too happy with himself, if he remembered that. If you use it, do you tend to lean more, whatever scent it is, do you lean more towards a fishy type smell or a crawfish type smell, or does it matter? Just any scent will do.
It just kind of depends. I don't believe in the shad scented stuff.
Right.
I pretty much only have garlic and I have crawfish. Bang. Jeremiah said he thinks Bang's trash,
but you like it.
I've seen it catch fish where you couldn't get a bite, and I've sprayed some on it, and I've seen it work. But and that may all be mental. I mean, that may all be in my head or whatever. But that's the only one I'll share is Mega Strike. Put that stuff on a worm or jig, and they'll swim around with that thing in their mouth for a full 30 minutes before you set the hook.
It was JJ's die. I knew he'd remember it.
Yeah. That's the way this stuff is. They won't let go of it.
He was not happy because he has a very nice boat, but that stuff went everywhere. That chartreuse is tough to get on. I think the scent is more to cover our smell. I tell you what, this is an interesting thing. When we did do the podcast with Shannon Gorman, he would, if you go back and watch that, he would use a paste stick type on his hard baits. And the reason that he used it on hard baits was so that when the fish hit, he thought it would give them a more natural type feel or taste or sensation with the hard bait as opposed to just, hitting that. So he would use this paste, whatever it was, the kind that he used at the time. Haywood. Now, he about got me. He about got me. I almost pronounced it. But Haywood, I am 100% fishing in chartreuse shad. Thought I was fish out on them, but for sure fish in after using some. I don't know what the hell you just wrote, but I read it. Did you understand that?
What's the hydro wave?
The hydro wave.
That thing's garbage.
What are okay? So they're garbage.
Go in, Ryan.
Go in on it, Ryan. What is the hydro wave?
It's a sound device that you put on your trolling motor.
Oh yeah.
Has certain intensities and certain frequencies that you puts out that sounds like bait fish.
Yeah.
What's the difference in it and then the striper guys hitting the bottom of the boat?
I'd rather hit the bottom of the boat than put that thing in the water.
Okay, so you it does not get the Ryan Sheffield seal of approval?
It doesn't get my seal of approval, no. I know I fished a BF, or not a BFL. I fished the ABA Division 8. The dude running around with it like all day long. I think at the end of the day, I think he put like 2 in the boat.
So you think it
must not work for you?
So you think it scares fish more than it helps?
I don't think it scares fish. I just think it's gimmicky.
I have
I
a
mean,
friend that watches.
And, I
the
mean,
Simpsons,
Kevin
and
Van
they're like,
Dam's got his name on it, so I mean, I guess it catches fish. I guess I don't know.
Do-
It's Kevin Van Dam approved.
Do you remember when Bill Dance used to have that thing that you would drop in the water? This is back during the late 80s, early 90s. I forget the name of it. He would have that thing you drop in the water and it'd tell you what colors the fish should.
Color selector.
The color selector.
I ain't seen that.
Now you'll remember that one. YouTube it like that because he would drop this probe down in the water and it had a little thing on it. Well, you need to use red today or something like that. I don't know. Color selector. So yeah, I don't know how it worked or if it worked, but I know that I remember that from back in the 80s. He always did those commercials on it. If you were all you old guys on here, what's up, Tatum? All you old guys, yeah, sorry, I made sure I said, hey, baby. All you old guys, did you ever own one of those? I'm be curious to see if anybody actually had a color selector and fished with it. So I just seen one last week. Wow. So yeah, there you go. You've never seen one of them
No,
things?
I have not.
It was a pretty. I mean, now the concept was, I don't know how they said it would work, but he would drop that probe or whatever it was in the water, and somehow I don't know if it read the pH or whatever the heck it did. I think my dad still has a color selector. That's awesome. I don't know how it worked, but it'd give you a color, and that's the kind of colors you should throw that day or whatever like that. I don't remember the base. That's the basic gist of it, right there. But that's kind of funny how the stuff that we had back in the day, how it's changed now. Because used to you had the what the heck's that called? The original fish finder that was the flasher. Yeah, that was the flasher. So you had the flasher, and then it went to the early graphs and stuff like that. Now we got them that can tell you the sex of the fish, just by looking at it. So it went off light penetration in the water. Okay, so there you go. That I knew it was something. So, I still think it might have been a little gimmicky, but it could have worked. So if any of you guys actually ever fished and couldn't say it worked or didn't, so yeah, paper graph. Back in the days of paper graph. Ice fishing flashers and stuff like that. So it's probably like testing your antifreeze in your vehicle. That's all good possibilities. I don't know, but I just bought a 2017 Nitro and it has a hydrowave on it. Sounds like a gray crane mating call. Ryan, you're the man of many voices and sounds. Can you do the sound of a grave?
I know the first time I won't say that guy's name, but I know the first time I caught a limit. He didn't out of the back of the boat. And it wasn't no great limit, but I caught 5. But I know the first time he turned that thing on, he pulled that sucker up, like trolling motor down, and all you heard was you can hear it up there. And
Is that what
like,
it sounds
I guess
like?
It's supposed to sound like bait fish. And I was like,
oh my Lord.
Like, what in the blue hell is that?
I've never fished with anybody that had one.
He's up there fishing. He's up there like this the whole time. He's like,
oh Lord, Ryan's up.
He's sitting there and fishing, and then he reaches down here. He's sitting there changing settings on it.
He's trying to get the right frequency and all that.
He moved the boat. Damn, I see him down there.
He turned it again.
Changed it again.
What, you trying to call him up?
I guess that's what the problem. I guess
sound like dial-up internet.
Dial-up
internet.
Thank you, sir.
I don't know, but
that's funny.
That was just the way that it was. But
I remember that being a thing. What was that first tournament on Gunnersville where the A-rig happened? I feel like that guy also had the hydro.
The hydrowave.
all eyes? No.
And he was like dialing it up.
There's a video.
Shad getting busted, and that was the difference.
Well, I get the theory behind it. But that sound right there, just to me, and maybe I'm not a fish, so I don't know, it doesn't sound like anything a fish would make in the water like that. But who am I to say that? But dial-up internet sounds, that's perfect way to describe that. You guys realize that? Do you know the Internet Explorer is going away now? Finally, the original.
Really?
Dial-up. Yep, I saw that on the news last night. Google crushed it finally. It's like, man, I'm just trying to pull up some dirty women on the internet. It's taking an hour and a half to get hooked up. I'm just kidding. I didn't do that. I'm just kidding.
It's like I told your son today. I said I told him as he said something, and I told Trey today. I said I remember my first time finding out who Lisa Ann was.
Yeah, When my boy comes up here to the store, we like to give him a hard time like that. So
Danny looks up, man.
damn, Tyler. What, Tyler? Why you hitting me?
He stabbed you
What?
hard.
Seriously, I thought we were friends.
Oh,
I thought we were friends.
Oh,
I hope he
that's
just
what he said.
doesn't-
Danny
I'm
looks up men's.
I'm gonna kick him in the. Yeah, come on, Tyler. What's wrong with you, man? Look at that. Anyway, we love you anyway. I know you're.
Oh
But
gosh.
it is amazing how technology, and I guess we're kind of switching over. I'm just telling it like it is, Danny. I swear I'm gonna kick him right in the butt when I see him. So it works. That's all I'm saying. Hydrowave. So there we got somebody that says it works. Somebody don't ask, don't tell. That's right. The striper guys do beat on the bottom of the boat, so I can see it working on spots. But I get single white mouth. Listen, Dane, I'm gonna kick you too, buddy.
Rail seeking 5-pound bass.
That's right. All's fair in love. There you go. But it is interesting how technology has changed in everything we do. And we're talking fishing in every aspect of our life. But I mean, even the worst bait caster today is better than I remember one of the high end ones I bought 20 something years ago.
I don't know.
You think?
Bamboo Garcia, what is them? 3200s, the little black one.
I'm not convinced yet.
them.
Listen to that. Yeah, they don't get me wrong. There's some good ones, but your
And go
rod
buy-
technology and everything is.
Go buy one of them Bamboo Garcia. What is it? Silver Max.
Yeah.
Go buy one of them. See how you like it.
You don't like it?
No,
You don't like that?
No.
You don't like the Silver Max?
the rod was good.
The rod was good. Well, see, I'm like that opposite, like with Lew's. Like I like the Lew's reels. I don't like the Lew's rods and stuff like that. So I know at Latham you can hear those big schools of bait fish when they're right beside the boat chopping water. Oh yeah, you can. And, yeah, they're chopping water, but it's just I've never fished with them. Almost 9 o'clock.
Mhm.
We need you to check on
It's 52. 52.
What is it? 8:52. So yeah, we're counting down because Jeff Nail is auctioning off his boat seat, and that auction ends at 9 p.m. tonight. And the man beside me is the current leader and is prepared to win at all costs. How about that? Is that what we want to say? Should I scare off the rest of them? He's prepared to win. So he's looking forward to that. Those old Abu Garcia C3 Ambassador reels are nuclear bomb proof. They just never die. True. I mean, they're true. And that's actually what I learned. Now, my first bait caster was a cheapo Ryobi I bought at Kmart. But it's crazy how many things Ryobi has made during the years. But I eventually moved up to the did you ever throw the round one? I mean, that was a round one, right? Yeah.
I actually found some on eBay, but I mean, they was going like $450 for them.
Right.
And back in late 90s, I paid $60.
Right.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And now they're going for over 400.
Right. The Olu's BB1NG from the early 90s are still good today. Yeah, they're still good. The new Abu reels suck. I guess it just depends on which one because I can understand
got some
some
black
of them.
maxes that I really like.
I've got a cheap black max that I promise you will outthrow any of my higher end reels.
And then my
Now, I'm not saying
Revo
this is good.
X's and Revo SXs,
Yeah.
I love them.
The old Calcuttas from Shimano. So I don't think it's the sound. I think it's the vibration, George says, with the Hydrowave. And that might be it. Particular tones that sound like bait fish fluttering and such. That definitely might be it. But it's just to get the sound that the yawn man over here.
I don't know
Huh?
all that.
You don't know,
I don't know.
but you just don't use
He
it.
knew what it was, so
He knew what it was, but he's old school. Ryan's old school.
that is old school.
The Hydrowave?
It'd have to be.
Shit, no, it ain't.
It ain't.
They come out in like 2008 or something like that.
That's old school.
Okay, what do you consider old school now? Yeah, so I mean, I'm older than all you guys here. What is old school with you?
Flasher, paper grass.
Right? What about you?
I guess it have to be 80s, right?
You go all the way back to the 80s,
No, it had to be late 90s to me.
late 90s,
Yeah, that Stratus I had, it had old flasher in the center of the dash.
right? What about do you remember back in the day? I mean, how even stuff like plastic worms have changed from back then back to the day now, and just the way they're made and what they're constructed with, and just even if you take Z-Man and that kind of Elastec or whatever that stuff is out of it, still the worms today are different than back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I remember fishing with the old culprits and stuff like that nobody seems to fish with anymore. I don't know why. I still think they're a good product like that. So
And we're getting those old school Zoom worms that was like you couldn't hardly tell what color the worm was inside the bag because there was so much salt in there.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, that I
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, the Hydrowave is not old school. Flashers and paper maps are old school. Now, I still like opening up a paper map. I don't know what it is, but I'm like the kind of guy that likes to read an actual book and not look at it on a tablet or listen to it on the phone, stuff like that. So, how much do you think? Let's say a guy's not proficient at topwater, and then we know it's topwater time. What are some things that, and it doesn't have to be Lanier, any lake right now a guy can go to and have a little bit of confidence in trying to catch some fish? Either one of y'all. Either one of you can jump in on that.
Jig.
Shaky head.
So you prefer the shaky head over the jig because I know you don't like the jig.
It's not that I don't like it. I just ain't
Confident. Just ain't confident.
I ain't never caught a fish on one.
Right. Well,
this man.
What man?
Him. He said I ain't never caught no fish on no jig.
Well, what about the Ron Savage worm and the Do Nothing worm for Bronson? Yeah,
Bronson out the back of the boat. I remember them old Do Nothing worm.
You can't ever beat dragging a Texas rig, neither.
Well, you can't, and that's what Dana still drags those things. So Carolina rig, man's jelly worms. There you go. Those have that old school smell. Smells like every bait shop in the 80s. So yeah, I remember using those things. They are Scotty Edwards, man's jelly worms, old school. Absolutely. Deep cranking, baby. So right now, we actually had that conversation with the guy in the shop today too. I'm not the biggest crankbait fan, but he's talking about cranking 20+ foot deep. And was you in here when that guy was in here? And we were talking about it.
I remember hearing something.
And I've never had a lot of confidence doing that. Now, you're not a deep cranking guy, are you, Ryan?
Not really. I'm not much of a crankbait guy anyway.
Right. What would make you actually pull it out? The crankbait, that is. Yeah, I want to make sure I clarify that for Weeks over there or Tyler Minnick.
If I was on a Tennessee River chain in the summer, I'd be hard pressed not to have one laying on the deck.
Right.
Simply because it's one of the best things that you can use really from a start on a ledge lake, especially to fire up fish.
Mm-hmm.
You keep running that crankbait through them. If you can get one to finally just get pissed off enough to bite it, then the rest of them will want to bite too.
I got you.
But I don't know. It's just if Lanier, which it ain't going to, but if Lanier would get back down about 10 foot, 8 to 10 feet below full pool, I'll have a 6XD in the summertime laying on deck like all the time.
And why does it have to be down? Just because you can get closer to the timber?
Well, because a lot of the humps and stuff, and a lot of the brush piles and stuff right now at full pool, you don't really. They make some, but if I'm on deep crank, I like a 6XD. That's like or a DD22.
How deep is 6XD? 16 foot?
I'm pretty sure I can get a 6XD down to about 20 foot.
What kind of setup would you be using that on? Line, rod, stuff like that?
I throw it on. Well, it's very hairy to do it. I know a lot of guys on the ledge lakes and Tennessee lakes and like Eufaula and some of them other lakes that do that stuff. You know, they're throwing it on like 15-pound test line, 14-pound test line, but Lanier, specifically these North Georgia lakes, when they come down, I got 7.5 foot cranking rod, 5-4-to-1 gear ratio reel, and 10-pound fluorocarbon.
So you go down on the line,
and I'll throw that thing out there as far as I can, and as soon as it hits hits where I'm going to, I step on the trolling motor and I turn it away about 15 feet, and then I stick my rod down in the water as far as I can. I about get down on my knees nearly in the crank.
Oh, really? Just to get that extra depth?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go 650 on Jeff Nell's seat. Is that legit?
That's legit.
There it is, 9 o'clock.
Pull it up on that. So yeah, make sure you guys tell Jeff Nail that he's got a $650 bid. So, and I think that will win it by far. You might go ahead and text him, Ryan, if you want to.
My phone's over there.
Your phone's over there. So, we'll make sure that you win. So, congratulations on that. I think you're going to have a good time. And again, I want to go ahead.
Have a good time.
I will go ahead and say this. Jeff said he was going to match $300 of that.
Yep.
So that makes that total bid right there worth $950. That's going to be going. He's there. All right. Well, there you go.
Is that him?
It must be. So here's the deal. First of all, I want to thank Jeff for doing that because that was a way that he could offer to give back to the Beasley family. And I want to go ahead and while you're right here in front of me, thank you for such a generous bid. To the family and all that. That's a class act, man, and I do appreciate it. And I know we've kind of talked.
You're going to learn a lot.
You're going to learn a lot, and we've talked today about, guys like you doing stuff like that and what you're going to learn with Jeff and all that. So I want to personally, on behalf of everybody here, thank you for doing that because that's top shelf stuff right there. So I'll shoot you a PM with my contact information. So
10-4.
Absolutely. So I love it. That's some good stuff. And again, that's $950 that's going to go to the Beasley family and all that. So man, I can't say enough. He's getting off the lake right now. So there you go.
Well, it's probably not his birthday.
Yeah, it is not. So unless he's got a PM, you'll get it, Brian says. So yeah, I think he's on there now, Brian. So there we go. So good. That's just one other person I get to beat Saturday is you like that. I'm gonna whip you like a
Bring it on.
Bring it on. But seriously, man, congratulations and thank you very much for doing that. And again, while just a kind of little break right there, real quick, guys, seriously, we really want you to tell all your friends and family, and if you can come out Saturday to Laurel Park and help us, buy some raffle tickets and just come, and even if you don't buy a raffle ticket, just come and meet Beasley's mom and dad and sister and all that, and just say, hey, thank you for sharing your son with us because it would mean the world to him to hear that, because one of the things that is helping him get through this time is actually seeing the reach that his son had that they didn't realize that the reach that their boy had and the actual way that this community is loving and loved Eric and all that. So again, if you can, it's at Laurel Park. The raffles will start roughly about 3:30. Again, we'll have food and drinks there and all that. Come by, shake our hands, get an autograph from Ryan, all kinds of stuff. And just like I said, just come be part of the community and doing stuff like that. So that again, that is I love when Josh and I started Fish North Georgia. The number one thing I can remember Josh saying is we want to build a community, and guys like you are a part of it, and guys that follow this and all that stuff. And it's just every day we wake up. There's not a day I don't wake up. I don't always get up on time, but there's not a day I wake up that I don't. I see that's for you don't either. So
I'm here most days before you.
You do well, that's true. You do, but again, it's just the people. I love you too. It's the people we've met and get to do stuff like this. It's just like Josh always says, it makes what we're doing, trying to do, worth it. So man, that's awesome. So I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, and I've learned. I mean, I can go out just about every time and not get skunked. And I mean, like I was telling you from last Friday, you was fishing that morning.
Yeah.
And you shortened your bait up and caught a fish.
Yeah.
And that night I used that and caught fish.
Yeah, and
I mean,
I get it from watching other guys too. Same way. Yeah. I mean, if you pay attention, I know we act like a bunch of yahoos, but if you pay attention, there are nuggets that you can pick up. And I try to do that. And every time I go out with Ryan, even though I don't throw that horny toad, I'm in the back of the boat, but I'm watching every single cast he's doing, how he's doing it, where he's doing it, because eventually I'm going to be in a situation where I got that. And I think I did it with Jason Saturday. We were in the back of a pocket, and he looked at me and goes, "What do we do?" And I said, "Well, let me tell you what Ryan would do." And that's exactly what I did. I know how he would pick it apart. And if you pay attention to not just us, but to anybody on the group page and just kind of watch it, and any of these fine guests that we get in here from time to time, there's always a little nugget or two that if you actually pay attention, you can put it to use like that. So, yeah, no, I'm glad you watched, number one, and I'm glad it helped you.
And I'm the type guy that open-minded. I feel like you could take a homeless person off the streets of San Francisco, and I guarantee he can teach you something you didn't know.
Oh, I'm sure everybody's got a story to tell and something.
I mean, that's just
that
the way to live.
No, that's it. I mean, seriously, I know a man who said, listen, no matter who it is out there, You've not walked in their shoes. They've not walked in yours. So you've got two different life experiences, and there's always something to be learned from somebody like that. So just
Exactly.
pay attention like that. And everybody's got something to give. So that is pretty cool. But again, man, I'm glad you won that thing. That good, because I know
Well, he ain't said nothing about getting a PM, so I guess I won.
No, he did. Well, no. Actually, he said he was going to PM you
Yep.
PM you his information on that. So, you should learn something every time you go out. Notice I said should, and that is a very good point. If you're paying attention to what you're fishing and all, and it's like even these comments in there, even though we've kind of gotten off the deep cranking subject, I'm still watching in the comments, and you can pick up a little bit here and there, and people are willing to give a little information and share it, and it might just pop back into your subconscious and you might not use it, but eventually you'll be in a situation you're like, I'll just take Jeremiah. Say maybe he says something about deep cranking or that one type of scent. And you're like, I wonder if X, Y, and Z would work here like that, and give it a shot and try it. And maybe it does, maybe it don't, but it's still that's what this is all about anyway, like that. So, I noticed in one of the comments, they said they look like we're getting some wind on Saturday. Now, how about this? Here's a question for both of you. You kind of got in your mind a little game plan, and granted, you're going to have to get with Jeff a little bit. But let's say on a typical tournament day, you got in your mind something, and in your mind there's going to be no wind, but you go to the lake, and the conditions, any condition, are different. You might have thought it was going to be sunny and it's cloudy. How long does it take for you to veer off your original plan, depending on the weather? Your decisions made about the weather.
The fish that I'm targeting, it's not really going to affect them that much.
Right.
So my game plan's not really going to change a whole lot.
So it wouldn't with you?
Not with me.
Because of the specific way you're targeting it and where you're targeting.
Yes.
Okay.
I've been on such a shaky head bite, and I mean, it's slowed down the past month, but I mean, I ain't thought nothing about the wind.
Right. But how about this? Is it your shaky head selection? Are you pretty set on X, Y, Z colors, and you don't variate from any of that? Or do you go like, oh man, it was sunny and I was going to throw this, but now it's cloudy, I'm going to throw that?
Pretty much green pumpkin.
You just stick with the green pumpkin. You're like that. So I'm always trying linear tactics learned here and there and trying them on the reservoirs. That's actually a very smart thing to do, because reservoirs like Latham and others fish like a mini Lake Lanier. So I've noticed that some of the things that we do on Lake Lanier fishing, I have gone over to Latham, and let's just see if that works here. And you can kind of figure out which ones do and which ones don't, but you'd be surprised that a lot of these tactics, they translate to other lakes and stuff like that. But then you got to be able to adapt. Like when we went to Allatoona the other day, I had in mind that it was going to, I had the wacky worm, but I had already in my mind I was going to throw a shaky head or a Ned rig, because I always got bit on that. But that day they weren't, and we had to switch to the schooling fish. But I don't think you expected that, not seeing the lake or anything like that. We had to adjust kind of on the fly with that one.
Yeah, to a certain extent, because see, the bottom line with me though is no matter where I go, no matter what I do, I've got what I'm going to try to do, and I'm going to run with it.
Right.
I don't let others influence my decision.
Right.
Because I'm not going to go. If you tell me that everybody's catching them on a drop shot right now, then the last thing that I'm going to do is probably go throw a drop shot, because they're seeing. Because in my mind, it's like they're seeing every size, every color, every different shape of worm right now, and the pressure on that specific technique going on right now is going to get extremely high, and it's going to get extreme to a point to where then it's going to fall off the mountain. And I do me, dude. I mean, I'm going to do me. I'm going to do me. And, but no, there ain't no wind in the back of a creek neither, for sure. But, I just, that's how I was born. That's how I was born and bred. And, I don't always win by no means. And I don't always go out there and
but it's your
stick
strength.
a mag bag or anything like that every single time I go.
Yeah, but it's your strengths.
But yeah, I'm gonna fish the way that I'm gonna fish. I'm not gonna fish uncomfortable. Because if I fish uncomfortable all day long, then
it's not fun.
I need to go put
Right.
the damn boat on the trailer and go to the house.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't go out there and try to learn different stuff,
Right.
but that's what practice is for.
Not the tournament
not
day.
the tournament day, and
Right.
it's just, and there's fish. There's perfect example. I'll say it like this. I haven't really thrown one too much, but I don't have no faith to throw one right now. A shaky head. Well, here you are. Said you've been catching some fish on shaky.
I mean,
head.
I ain't won no tournaments, but I've caught fish.
But you've been catching fish on shaky head, which
Yep.
is the complete 180 of me. I'm not catching any fish on shaky head.
Mm-hmm.
So you one up on me on that. But you feel good about doing that.
Yes, I feel.
You feel like you can.
You got confidence in it.
You made the comment earlier, he said, I hope I win this thing with Jeff. He said, I'm trying to go to see
what I need to bring.
What you need to bring and stuff. And I kind of told you, I said, I'll tell you kind of what Jeff's doing, what I know he's doing right now. And I told you some of the stuff that he's doing, not going to say it, but you said the comment. He's like, well, I'm not going to leave the spinning rod at home with the shaky head.
No, it's not a spinning rod.
Well,
I wasn't going to leave the shaky.
Well, you're not going to leave the shaky head at home.
Right.
You're not. You said I'm not going to leave the shaky head at home.
I just can't.
You feel good with it right now.
Even if it's just with me, I can hug it or something.
Well, Ryan,
Right.
he'll tell you I'm the same way with a wacky rig.
He is. He's the same way with.
Always got one, no matter what.
Yeah.
We'll be out in the middle of the lake fishing a hump or something. I'm gonna throw that wacky rig over it at least once or
But
twice.
My shaky head bite had died, kind of slowed down a lot, and then Danny, and who was fishing that morning?
It was Glaze, my cousin.
And he picked up the Ned rig, short bait, and caught a fish. And that night we had that tournament, and I just started biting my ultraviolet speed worms in half and putting them on the shaky head.
Just downsizing it, letting the fish tell you what they want.
And cast a few times and forgot my scent, put my scent on and started catching fish.
You gotta put the sin on.
The one thing that I do, and you can hearken to this or whatever, but the one thing that I do is I read Ron's comment there. The tactics and the techniques that I personally fish a lot, it can happen in an instant.
Exactly. And absolutely, yes.
And it's not like you going out there fishing a point and fishing this point or something for like an hour and just dragging a worm or a jig every freaking direction you could possibly go.
Right.
I'm constantly moving. I'm constantly covering water. I'm constantly moving. I feel like I do an injustice to myself if I don't cover enough water during a tournament, especially when the water temperature is above 65 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I got a 36 volt trolling motor, and you can ask Bronson, he's watching. There's already been twice this year. I got a 36 volt trolling motor. Put the trolling motor in the water right there at the end of the tournament, and
I did.
We're on 100, Bronson, and I'm going like it's 40.
Right.
And a lot of people might say that's impossible.
No, not with you.
It's not with me. It's not with me.
And that also goes to people saying when we're fishing together, should slow down, but I always tell everybody, like, listen, I know what he's hunting for.
What was the comment that was made to you last Saturday about fishing with me?
They were kind of, I forget the specific comment, but it's like, you got to tell him to slow down or something like that. There were several of them like that.
But then what did that one guy say about me on the trolling motor?
Oh, yeah. There's a reason. I forget exactly how he said it. I remember the conversation. I don't remember what he said.
There's a reason he stays on the trolling motor and a reason why he stays doing what he's doing.
Yeah. No, he's not. Right. He doesn't use lithiums on those.
I do not have lithium.
But that's it. I know that when he's back there, and this is just in my mind too.
Dane saw that sometimes don't even drop the trolling motor.
Right, that's true. But he's back there in the throwing that horny toad or something like that. And he's moving. I don't mind because I know he's trying to pull that big bite out from under. He's trying to pull that lip out from under the docks and all that. And so it does not bother me that he's going 100 miles an hour because I know that there's a purpose in the speed and why he's doing it. Hit, go. Now, I could always adjust what I want to throw and do that. I just most times choose not to. But what's up, Harold? So it's no big deal to me. But again, that's what you're saying. That's the way you're going to fish.
Mhm.
And that's what you're doing, and that's your tactic, and that's your strength. And
Mhm.
as a co-boater, you got to understand that.
A comment was made to me, not against the people that we fished against, but a comment was made to me by somebody else. They said, leave that horny toad in the rod locker on Altoona. You're not going to catch no fish on it.
And what happened?
And what happened? 3 of the 5 fish that we weighed in, I caught on a horny toad.
He did.
There ain't no largemouth that only the secret people hold know on Altoona.
Right. And this was down towards the dam.
Yeah, we're mid-lake area or
Yeah.
whatever. We weren't way up, we weren't in Stamp Creek or way on up the river or anything like that on Altoona. And
But you caught them out of the exact same places that you target on Lanier and
right,
stuff.
exactly. Doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And I got excited and I was like, there's one of them
He
elusive
did.
Altoona
Listen,
largemouth
he did
that
on
everyone says don't exist.
That first one he set the hook into, he was happy, boy. He was like, there it is, whatever you said like that. But again, it goes back to, this is who I am. This is how I fish. And that's why it don't bother me, because I'm like, I'm waiting for that blow up at any time. It's just like when Kaz was going really fast at Chateau, skipping them jigs, and all of a sudden there come that one that was 6-7 pounds or whatever out from under. It happens in an instant. And it was in a place that, and he covers the water. He's trying to get that reaction bite from out of the docks or from over the blowdown or something like that. So it's all, it's all pretty cool and relative. But again, it goes back to you saying, hey, that's the tactic I like to go, and I'm not going to change from what it is. So I saw that same pattern Tuesday night. I only caught 3, but better quality fish like that. So, I mean, it is. And there are times when they will crush that horny toad on tuna. Absolutely. Now, the big topic that we get into now is, I always ask Ryan why he throws white and not a more natural color. And his answer is because he's caught fish on it. So again, it goes back to the confidence in the bait. That's pretty much what you say. There's no sense to changing because they're going to hit it.
Yeah.
Somebody
like said, why don't you you're fishing for brim eaters, why don't you throw in black or green pumpkin? They ain't never not told me they don't want it.
Right. They hit the white.
Yeah.
And they hit the white. And there's no arguing that, but it is kind of funny, as people did kind of say that what you did will not work.
Dang off camera, Dane.
The
The last place that we fished Tuesday, Dane said he was in the back of my boat. He saw what fish I caught. And if you got 5 of them, you can bet your ass it's on.
It's on.
And I turn around and look, and I'm trying to grab a hold of the fish and get a hold of it and get the hook out of its mouth. And he just looks at me. He goes, oh, he doesn't do it no faster than this, I swear. Oh, my God. That's all he said.
Just finally saw it happen. And that's why I said when he's throwing it, let him go. Let him go with it.
Yeah.
Because eventually you're going to get that big one coming out from that. And it is, and you'll go down a string of docks and not get hit and all that. But when they actually blow up on it.
And I got the mark right here to prove it on my thumb.
He's still crying because he got a rope cut or from braid.
Yeah.
They're saying, he was, they are no, he is. He's like, he's braid cut. Ryan got
For some reason I threw back there, and I put my finger up underneath. I picked up my line as I was reeling, and then that big fish gets it, and I set the hook, and I don't move my finger, and I'm fighting that fish, and about that time I feel fire on my finger, and I look down, and
he goes, that was the rated G version.
There's blood pouring from my finger. And I was like, what did I do? And then it dawns on me, and I was like, oh, I had my freaking finger underneath the line, and that fish is pulling, and that braid's just like, nyeh.
But in the moment, you didn't know it.
No.
I got a bad habit while I'm reeling with a bait caster. I'll keep that one with the line running over it right in that groove.
Right in that groove right there, and you work it and all that.
Eventually, it'll cut it.
He come in, he goes, oh, man, I got this cut. Look at this.
Yeah.
But cuts like that don't hurt near as bad when there's a fish on the other end. That's probably why you didn't feel it. But it is kind of, it goes back to what everybody's been talking about, how you say, all right, this works on Lanier and it ain't going to work on Altoona, or that might not work on Carter's. But the reality of it is there's some techniques or that just about anything will transfer. It just depends on whether you get confidence to throw it and how you throw it like that. So I don't know how many people fish horny toads on Altoona.
I don't even know what a horny toad is.
workers' comp claim. Oh, you get hurt here, you're fired. It's the little floating Zoom toad frog, goes on top of the water. I don't know how in the hell to describe it. How do you
sound, Ryan?
Huh?
make the sound? Tell them what a horny toad
It
is.
don't really make no noise.
Yeah, they don't. You've never seen this? It's like it's a soft-bodied frog.
Every now and again, you'll pull one out of the pack, and before it catches the fish, it'll say, you can hear it back there.
Yeah, you really never seen a horny
Is it
toad?
hot water?
Yes.
I ain't never.
You fish it, you can fish it several different ways, but the way Ryan fishes it is weightless and just along the top of the water like a buzz bait kind of. But yeah, you ain't never seen one of those. I'm telling you, if when he can find like 20 packs of them, he'll buy all 20 packs of them.
They only catch one fish.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it's
They're
the
one
most.
fish
Yeah,
bait.
fired before you hit the ground, Harold Grizzle. That's right. There ain't no workers' comp claim here. So y'all did the same. Yeah, did the same when I was snagged in a brush pile with fluoro, and that sucker hurt. Absolutely, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. It don't take much to cut some skin like that, huh? It will drive you crazy because it's always in your fingers, and you're using them fingers to fish the rest of the day. So,
I did that one time. I got jig hung in a brush pile, and it was pouring down rain all day. The entire tournament is pouring down rain, never stopped. And I got my jig finally hung in a brush pile, and not thinking, just being a dummy. Damn, it won't come in.
got it, wrapped it around your hand.
My hands are soaking wet, and I go, and about the time I feel bone. And I look down and I got blood pouring out of both sides of my hands because my fingers and my hands were so parched.
Right.
And it just cut my skin.
Since you said that, because you actually taught me something too. Let's see. The biggest question I'm getting is username. All right, so this goes back to
You got when you use your username, that's your
again, we're back talking about the digital.
You putting your name, you got your username and your password where you log in, and then when you'll register in the tournament, you're gonna put the boater's name and the co-angler's name on the tournament.
Right.
I don't really know really.
It's kind of without having it right here in front of us, it's kind of difficult to say that. But have you ever fished a Zoom horny toad on greenfish toad toter?
I don't throw horny toads on a buzz bait.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, no, sorry. He does not do. So you ever seen that where people have the buzz bait, they got the frog on the back? Basically, that frog is the horny toad without any of that stuff.
I like having
some people do use it.
I like having them days if your phone's fingerprinted.
Yeah.
And you fingerprint gets.
Oh, you caught so many fish it don't work? I ain't had that problem, dude. I ain't had that problem.
I've had several of them here lately.
I want to bring this up because you taught me something actually, and I think it would be a good tip for people. You taught me something when we were at Allatoona about a jig fishing. When you're fishing a jig and it gets hung and you're trying to pull it out of the brush, there's a certain technique that you do that helps to more than not get it out without, because I was jerking it a certain way and you were like, no. Tell everybody kind of what you did or how you do it that makes it easier to retrieve your jig. And I know it's tough without a rod in your hand, but
the first, well, I can use this bottle. The first mistake that a lot of people use is when they're fishing like a tree or a brush pile or something like that, or rock, and their jig gets hung, or their shaky head, or their Ned rig. The first thing that they do is they're like, "Oh crap, I'm hung," and they grab their rod and like whoosh, like that, trying to pull it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you were doing. I was like, no, stop. You're going to lose your jig. When you pull in a brush pile, when it rolls over in a brush pile or something like that, or it catches a limb, an overhanging limb in a brush pile, we'll say brush pile for specifics. When you pull like this, it's just like when you set the hook on a fish.
Mm-hmm.
When you're setting the hook on a fish, you're putting enough force on that jig to bend the brush guard down past the point of the hook to penetrate their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing the same thing when you're sitting here doing this. Let the brush guard. I see a lot of it too. It's kind of bad, but it's whatever. You see a lot of guys, they get hung and then they pull. Well, the more you pull, the more deeper you're going to drive the hook into the brush. And eventually it's going to come to a point where the only way it's going to happen is you're going to have to break the thing off.
Right.
When you feel that and you lift up slow and you go, oh, and then you let go and then you pull back up again and it comes back to the same position again and it will not move. And take the butt of your rod, put the reel in your hand just like this. Take the butt of your rod and put it right here underneath your forearm and point in the direction of where it is. And you literally use this part of your forearm right here and you literally use it as a fulcrum to pull up like this. What that does is when you have this position and you have the butt of the rod in the back of your forearm, in the bottom of your forearm right here, it makes you not go like this with the rod, and then it makes you not move the rod like this. Well, when you're doing the rod like this, as you're trying to pull, even if you're pulling real slow, as you move the rod and the rod tip comes like this, the line's coming down like so. And you're actually trying to pull that jig, and that jig's actually going backwards, and it's trying to pin itself in more.
Right.
If you barely lift up and you let the weed guard do its job, and you control your lift like this, it'll come up, and then it'll come loose. It don't happen all the time,
but most of the time.
But you will save a lot more money, and you will save a lot more jigs by being more gentle.
Firm but gentle.
Firm but gentle.
Yeah, and Justin Spieth said that lift it up slowly. Yeah, it's the way he did. He took the butt of the rod next to he said you do it like this, and the rod has to stay by your arm.
Mm-hmm.
And as you lift it up, it is a different angle too than when you pull them back. It is a slightly different angle and all that. So I just will this only work for jigs? No, it works for shaky heads.
No, it'll work. It'll work for shaky heads too and stuff. Because you should have your worm skin hooked.
Arrow grizzle, absolutely.
You should have your worm skin hooked, unless the worm has run down the round bend of the shank of the hook. Then your shaky head's probably most likely it's going to be gone.
Right.
But if not, when that happens, you should be able to get your worm out.
And again, that's something that happened live while we were fishing. He said, "Do this." So again, it was one little tidbit that I didn't know.
What happened?
Where'd it come out? You did it. Yeah, I gave him my rod. He goes, here's what you do. And he got it in his hand the way he was supposed to get it in his hand. And he did that and he lifted up just kind of, it wasn't a jerk. It was a very controlled kind of raise. And I'd be dang if it didn't pop out. Another little trick. See, and those little tricks can make or break a day like that. So I learned that. I learned one from Brett Matthews, and I have found that it works 90% of the time. That when you get a backlash and you can pull it out, but you get to the point where it's stuck, what he did, he showed me, is he put his thumbnail down on the thing, and he actually reeled his line 4 or 5 times, made 4 or 5 loops on that, and it pushed everything up, and then he pressed the bell, and somehow, some way, the line comes out.
I've had luck rolling them backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just little bitty things like that. You're like, I don't necessarily know why it works. It just does work like that. But I did learn that with him on a jig, and you were talking about that, so I thought it'd be a good time to have you show everybody, or at least talk about that. Like, again, Harold Grizzle's like, absolutely. So it is a technique. So if you get hung, remember that with the jig, shaky head, stuff like that. Put your hand on your reel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Butt of the rod against your forearm.
You're basically going to grab the reel just like this in your hand.
And forearm.
And you're basically going to take the butt of your rod right here.
And you lift, basically bending your elbow kind of up at a slow. And it did work. And like you said, it doesn't work all the time.
It don't work all the time, but it's a whole hell of a lot better than, oh, crap, I'm hung.
Which is what I was doing. He goes, basically, he says it nice tonight. He wasn't so nice about
the reason. The reason being, too, is why you're wanting to try to be as gentle and as slow as you can, too, is because you don't know. Because I've had it happen to me. Shit, I'm hung.
Pull it out, and then all of a sudden, boom.
God, money. They're sitting there looking at it.
Yes.
And it comes right out, and when it pops out, it starts to fall back in, and they're like, "That's it!" And they suck it in and they grab it.
Right. The thumbs trick is an old school one. Sure, it is. And Grizzle, I do it all the time. Why I still have about all my jigs. Mm-hmm. And again, listen, I've been fishing with Ryan for a while now, and that's the first time he's seen me do it. He goes, no. So pay attention, like we're talking about. Pay attention and learn, and you learn something. And it's like, I'm not getting my feelings hurt because he's calling me out. He was showing me something. And now, happened
He done-
Tuesday on
he
the
done it. I
wacky.
showed it to Dane Tuesday on Wacky. He got his wacky worm back.
And it's just weird, but it does, because it is the habit of all of us to just start, son of a gun.
Mhm.
And then everybody pull out and they grab their line and pop it a few times and all that, and they do all that. But he did. He just, no. And this was after I had jerked it quite a few times.
Mhm.
He was like, no, and he did that. He just popped right out. And I was like,
I
I'll be
have to try
doggone.
that. It aggravates me because I feel like if I'm fishing a ledge at the bank with a bunch of cover or something, you get hung
Mm-hmm.
and you got to go up in there and get it. You messed your fishing up.
Yeah, that's right. And that's kind of going back to what he said. You don't rip the brush pile all apart either,
Yeah.
doing it like that and spooking all the fish. So, got any other little tips and tricks that you can tell everybody about tonight there? Just stuff like that off the top of your head that you see people do all the time. You're like, if they would just do it this way, it'd make life a whole lot easier on them. Can be anything from casting and all. What are a lot of mistakes you see people make that you like, if they would just make this one small adjustment, it'd make their life a whole lot easier. We're not cutting down on jig sales. I understand that, but it is a good tip for sure. Like skipping, what's some, I'm terrible at it. Plug knockers will save you a ton of money. They are good. Plug knockers are, but like skipping, what is the biggest mistake people make skipping?
Can you skip with a bait caster?
Yes. Oh yeah. He can.
That's
Yeah.
all I use.
Yeah, he don't use a spin reel skipping. He don't pull a spinning reel out very hardly at all. He's got them, but he's gonna fish a bait caster 95% of the time. Like that.
Biggest thing with skipping docks, for example, is a lot of people tighten their stuff down too much. They try to tighten it, and there's a video of Gerald Swindle talking about this too.
It's a good video.
I didn't steal this from Gerald Swindle, but actually the guy that taught me how to skip well before Gerald Swindle made a video on Wire to Fish about doing it. A lot of guys tighten their stuff down too much because they think, if I tighten it up, if I make a bad cast, there's only a little bit of line comes out. It's you want looser is better. The biggest thing that I see, especially with the young kids, the younger people, and then even the older people too, who like never really skipped before, they're using too big of a rod. They're using way too big of a rod. I'm 6'7", but I use a 7.1 medium heavy rod.
Which for somebody my size would be down to the 6'6",
yes,
6'6", 6'3" area.
Yes, and like what Jeremiah said, the biggest mistake people make skipping is spool tension. Exactly what I'm saying. Second's timing. A lot of guys, they'll trying to skip and they go like this right here and they take their rod and they do this number and they follow. If you watch the videos so far on the channel, you'll watch me no matter if I'm doing this or if I'm backhanding. I don't stand back and the only time I stand back and look right this is if I'm gonna throw in the back of a pocket, because I'll turn around and I'll look and I'm looking to see if there's like a limb or something that I don't see. But when I'm skipping docks specifically, you're going to look and say, I want to put it right underneath the walkway, right past the pole. You need to put your eyes on that spot. You need to not take your eyes off that location. One of the hardest things for me was getting down to the smallest bit of accuracy. The pontoon is parked into the front of the dock and the motor's on the outside. Well, I can take a horny toad or a jig and I can skip in between the motor and I can go all the way to the back.
Eyes on the target, Brian said.
Eyes on the target, exactly.
That's right. And I want to say thank you, Jung Wool's Life or something. I can't see it like that. Happy birthday to Eric. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can take a regular bait caster and pull about 40% of the line out, and you can do the electrical tape trick. That's just basically you pull a bunch of the line out if you're going to I'm going to go learn how to skip docks one day or whatever. You pull a bunch of your line out and
like 40 feet or something like that.
Yeah, roughly, give or take. And then you put a piece of tape, electrical tape, and wrap it a couple times. And then you've got
So you can't
only
backlash
that
from
you can't backlash that deep into
So
the
you can
spool.
only mess up so much.
You can only mess up so much lining, and the mess up is a whole lot manageable.
Right.
You know,
It's a good little tip.
That's one thing to learn. The biggest thing is probably, roll casting is following through. There's a lot of different. There's a lot of art that goes into it. It's really an art to learn how to skip, because you can't just go, I'm gonna go skip. I'm gonna go skip docks, or I'm gonna go skip stuff.
Trust me, it don't work like that.
It don't work that way. Yeah,
No.
It don't work that way. You're gonna
I
fail.
can't even skip a spinner rod. Spinning one.
Boy, we're gonna work on you.
We got to work. He's working with me now. He's working with me.
Mono is another good one, because mono line is very, 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 very forgiving.
It's also cheap if you
it's also cheap, but fluorocarbon line is real supple, and it's got some stiffness to it, and it's not as nowhere near as forgiving as mono is. Then the next step above fluorocarbon is braid. And braid is very, 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 very unforgiving. Because braid will wind up on itself sometimes, and you ain't doing anything wrong.
Right.
It'll wind up on itself, and it'll cross itself over.
I've tried that on one bait caster. I took it right off.
Yeah.
The braid.
Yeah.
So that's like, I mean, now you're getting up to expert level before you need to start skipping with braid. Is that what you're saying? Would you start like, say me? Would you recommend starting with mono, then move to fluoro, and then move to braid, or does it matter?
I would get like 12-pound big game. Another thing too that a lot of guys make a mistake too when they go learn how to skip is they start skipping with too heavy of a bait. Like they tie on a 1/2-ounce jig, and then I'm gonna skip off with a 1/2-ounce jig. Well, a 1/2-ounce jig has a whole lot more momentum.
Right.
And if you screw up and bury it into the water, you're going to produce a major. You're going to have to get scissors.
Right, because it's pulling so hard,
right.
It's going to keep going.
The best thing to learn to do is start with like a 1/4-ounce jig.
Okay. And
then work your way up like a 3/8. And then you can start working after you get really, really confident and really a lot better with a 1/4 and a 3/8. Then you can start going up to halves. And then
would you recommend a jig to start with?
An archy head.
An archy head jig, like
a skip cast head.
For anything.
Yes.
You would say, yes. I know nothing about skipping. The first thing you need to do is put on an archy head style jig.
Archy head styles, they have that flat spot that comes up to the concave.
Right.
Or
what's up,
convex.
Casting?
Or I said concave. It comes up to that convex angle up to the line tie like this.
Right.
And as it goes, as you skip, as it goes, it'll catch and it'll glide. And it catches itself.
Or two-handed?
What? Skipper?
Caster.
Oh, caster. The only two-handed cast I can make is over my head.
I can't even do that.
Yeah. I can't, and another thing I can't do is I can't cast anything. I can't cast anything left-handed.
But you can backhand and stuff like
that.
But
so in order for me to learn how to do that, I had to, after I got the skipping down, then I had to learn how to backhand. And if you can learn how to skip this way, and then you can learn how to backhand, then you can cover everything that you can need. Because in a situation with stuff, you may not be able to readjust the boat and turn it around and do all this stuff so you can get a side armed cast. So you need to learn how to backhand.
Yeah.
That's my problem. I like fishing off the left side of the boat.
Yeah.
Because I have a hard time going from the right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just left side works better for me.
Yeah. So you need to be able to throw left-handed,
which I can't.
So if you're going to do that, then you're going to have to really, probably your dominant thing is going to have to be to roll.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to get beyond your targets and then go back to your targets that you're going to skip. that you're going to throw a bait in.
Do you do the hand roll when you go back? Like I know you're talking about the roll and stuff like that. When you go backhanded, is there a similar type of roll, or is it more of just this, more of a wrist flip?
You're going to put me on the spot here. Now
Got to think about it.
Yeah, I got to think about it because it's so muscle memory now.
It is muscle memory though. You've done it so much.
It's a sidearm is basically like this,
like a roll.
You roll it.
Roll it.
My backhand. The way I backhand is I turn the face of the open of the reel is back to me. The top of the reel is back to me, and basically it's kind of the same thing. I do a little bit more snap like that,
right,
on the backhand. But that's just me. That's also that's also the baseball in me.
Yes.
Is that's doing that way.
It's a baseball in me. That's why
So
you got hit, because
right
opposite field.
I reel right-handed. I reel right-handed on everything except my flipping stick.
Yeah, we have that conversation all the time too. Guys that will take a certain technique and they'll go, "Well, I'm right-handed, but on my jigs I fish with my left hand and all that." And it just blows my mind because I'm right-handed in everything. I mean, I'm naturally left-handed, but I reel and I eat and stuff with my right hand. I write with my left, but all that stuff because
so you
growing
hold your
up,
spinning rod upside down.
That's right. I do whatever the hell I got to do to get a fish in the boat. So, all right. Good night, man. Just keep casting. So,
Wrong. Instead of skipping a Senko, try a Zoom Mag Finesse worm. It lasts a long time. A lot of guys get hung up on distance
instead of accuracy, and accuracy.
Yeah, they try to like, I'm gonna get way up there past the walkway, all the way to the other side of the cable. If you can't get the distance yet, which you won't in the beginning, there's absolutely nothing wrong whatsoever with. And then as soon as it gets right past the walkway, because you can't get no more distance than that, as soon as it gets up there, you have you stop the reel with your thumb. The button's already engaged. Hold your rod up, point your rod right the direction, and do this number, and pull some line off. So then that bait will fall straight down. A lot of the things is when you see all the pros doing it is they skip really far up underneath stuff, but the main reason they skip it so far is because as they skipped, that bait pendulums back to where they want it to be, right back down there on the outside of the shade line of the walkway, and then they bring the bait into the shade line of the walkway.
Let's see, what is the best thing I ever skipped was school. Yeah, you no doubt about that. I do skip now I am one now with my spin reels. I like throwing the weightless wacky. It is easy to skip that Senko. But even you said, you noticed the other day when I would throw my shaky head with my spin reel and it busted a knot, whatever we were fishing, all that, and I put it on my bait cast, and all of a sudden Ryan said my accuracy was like a whole hell of a lot better, even though I never threw it on my bait caster.
You were making a whole lot more accurate casts with spinning rod, with the bait caster compared to the spinning rod.
I've noticed that when I try to skip with a spin reel, I really don't have the accuracy. I can skip it, and every once in a while I get. But I've got to learn to do it with a bait caster because I don't know if it's how you hold the rod, if it's the way it's in your hand, but I would probably have more accuracy with the bait caster.
I know I've always been like a 7-foot rod man.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's 7 foot. Everything's 7 foot.
Because you're comfortable with that.
But I've actually went 7.2, 7.3, 7.6, and the longer the rod, the more accurate I am. I can hit better with it.
You are that.
Yes, because my longer arms and
right. I don't know. I don't know, but I watch him.
How to skip with a 6.6 medium heavy rod.
I can't even flip a bait caster.
We just got to learn it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to work on you.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can't do is pitch skip.
That seems like that. So you're talking about like when you say pitch, like a flip?
There's pitching the bait. You have the bait in your hand, you get the rod in your hand, and you pitch the bait. You're doing pitching.
Right, and you can't.
I can't pitch skip.
Like if I'm fishing a bank, I want to get up under that brush to the bank.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't get it up under there without, just by getting it there without skipping,
that's how
it's going in a tree.
Yeah. Well, that's why I throw it on a spin reel because I'm so worried about that backlash now. But Ryan said that, he goes, dude, your casting is so much more accurate with a bait caster because it's with a spin reel you just kind of fling it up there, but with a bait caster you're really actually kind of putting a little. So I'm going to try to learn my skipping with the bait caster and all that.
I found as far as my bait backlashes is the more I can keep my eye on the bait, bait, the less backlashes I get. Yeah.
And Go Dogs has a good point. Keep in mind is to point the rod tip where you want the bait to go. Mm-hmm. Kind of like, whether you throw a football or baseball, you end up facing a certain way every time. And if you do that, your accuracy improves and all that. So it translates to a lot of stuff. But I have zero confidence in skipping.
And
But I've never tried till I started fishing with Ryan. I never, we don't have to do that on the electric only. We don't have docks. You got an overhanging branch here or there, but
when you and the other thing too is don't roll up to the lake and it blowing 15 mile an hour and say I'm gonna go skip docks.
It is supposed to be 5-10 mile an hour Saturday.
that might be good for us. But
Yeah.
but
If there's any kind of decent little chop to the water,
skipping's out of the point,
you're not gonna skip. You're not gonna skip.
and that's just because of the waves coming in. And
Well, I
the
mean,
drainage.
you're not going into the hole, and all of a sudden a little wave comes up that's about this far up,
Yep.
and it just rides up the top of that thing and bang into the dock.
Well, we know that noise like that. So
But yeah, longer rods equal longer casts too.
Have you ever seen them crappy guys shoot the docks?
Oh yeah, you shoot dock.
I've tried that. I can do it a little bit.
pretty
Like
good at it.
Oconee, shoot dock.
Shoot a dock on
You take
Oconee.
that rod and you say,
Same thing with the jig. I mean,
Yeah.
you can turn around. I've tried it. Now I'm a little bit better with the crappy rod and all than I am the a big full size jig for sure. That's no doubt about that. It is timing. There's a whole lot that goes into it. It's not just going up and hey, I'm gonna skip it and throw it out there.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot involved in that. So
I know a guy that flips really good, and he said he just got a 5-gallon bucket and set on his doorstep and just kept moving it out. But he's good.
All right, so we're getting a little shooting docks, baby. Yeah, that's it. So we're getting a little bit on into the show, getting towards the end here, and then I want to go over the Beasley thing one more time before we get off. But anything as far as this Saturday, for anybody fishing anywhere, what do you think? A good general rule is going to be for guys. It could be on Allatoona, it could be on anywhere. With the hot weather and stuff like that, anything, little tip or anything like that.
remember that bass are a lot like us in terms of hot weather too, and hot water temperatures. Where do you want to hang out when it's hot? Do you want to go sit out there in the middle of the parking lot, or do you want to go over there and hang out underneath the big old oak tree in the shade?
Yep.
Good point. Absolutely good point. So,
and always have fun.
And yes, Dylan, I am the pro at the bang noise on the dock. So, I'm going to pull Ron's up like that. Ron's right below that. So you guys read this, and good luck to everyone fishing. Please be safe with the boat traffic and the weather. And of course, that's a big thing this weekend. So, with that said, username is your email for login. Jason White Gunsmith. Okay, there you go. I was supposed to call him back. So there you go. So that's for the tournament. Again, guys, we got Beasley's benefit tournament out of Laurel, capping the adult division at 85 boats. The high school division, we're going to cap out around 30 if we get that many. And a lot of details we're going to be posting tomorrow and all that. But the main thing is to come out, have some fun with the tournament. If you're interested in the raffles, again, I told you earlier how you can get a hold of me. You can message me directly or through the Eric Beasley Facebook page, the Benefit Tournament Facebook page, or Fish North Georgia group page. Any of those, if you got any questions about the raffles, and if you want to buy, if you're not going to be present, but you want to buy a raffle ticket, you can contact me that way. I'll tell you how to pay, and then we'll take the pictures of the numbers and all that, and we'll send it to you. But regardless, we really want you to come out and fish with us. And if you can't, we really want you to come out and just be a part of the kind of the celebration for Eric and the raffles and all that. It'll be a good time. Like I said, we're going to have food and drinks there. We'll all be there. I'd like to meet you. If I haven't met you before, come up and introduce yourself to me and Ryan and the guys. And Paul will be fishing. You're going to fish with George Smith, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so Paul's going to jump out of the kayak on
With all the beards in it.
the boat with the beards, the bearded boat like that. So he's going to jump out there and fish. But again, about these jerseys again, we got that Gerald Swindle signed autographed jersey along with Clint Davis, Mark Frazier, Shane Lineberger, Jason Chrissy, Jeff Gustafson. Did I say it right that time?
Gustafson.
I always say it wrong. Gussie, Andy Montgomery, Alton Jones Jr., Jesse Millsaps, and there'll be some more. We have got tons and tons of raffle stuff to give out. So there is a good shot to win something regardless of what it is. But the big thing is we want to shower the Beasleys with love, and we want you guys to come out and join us. And again, Joseph, I thank you for hanging around the shop this afternoon and jumping on with us and talking with us tonight. And I wish you the best. And again, congratulations getting to fish with Jeff Nail. And again, Ryan, thank you for all you do around here. And
Thank you for having me.
yo, you're
Mhm.
welcome like that. And again, thank you, Paul, for manning the boards like the professional you are and all that. So yeah, well, you do a good job. So I'm gonna end it tonight, guys. Again, if you can't come out and see us, you also can get in touch with Dane Hunter if you got questions. If you're on the Allatoona side of things, message Dane, give him a call or whatever. And again, it's gonna be good. That'll be some good bags weighed in. That'll be some good fishing. But again, the biggest thing, being safe, with the boat traffic. We're going to have all them yahoos out there. And don't be one of those guys that are dangerous. Take your time and all that. And regardless of where you fish this weekend, enjoy the fact that you live in a country that you get to do that kind of things. And don't take it for granted. Okay? Don't ever take it for granted. Every breath you take is a gift from above. And enjoy yourself like that. So we're going to end it this week. We hope you have a blessed weekend. Ryan and I are going to fish. You mentioned Chattooks. Not Chattooks, Notley. We're gonna go to Notley Tuesday.
There's a chance.
There's a chance that our Tuesday live on the water will be from Notley this week or next week and all that. So we hope you join us there on that. And again, be safe. We hope we see you Saturday, and we will see you next week.